Good morning, Senate committee members, one and all, and welcome to Vote of No Confidence. And today we have a very special guest senator from the far-off outer rim system of USA. He is the one, the only, Mr. Joshua Lucas. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you for that kind welcome. I'm here to debate on the side of correctness, so I am here.
And the debate is one that I think will have a lot of people upset, because a lot of people love Luke Skywalker, don't they? I mean, he's a nice guy. I think it's hard to say I found a person who doesn't like Luke.
He's a good dude, man. He gives out the king size candy bars at Halloween. He's the cool house. It's Luke. Yep.
He's like everybody's cool uncle.
Yes, exactly.
But now there's a bit of a fear going around that, we are getting 2 more movies in this trilogy, and it is going to be pretty dark looking. So the question that we have been asked was, will Luke Skywalker be killed by Mr. Snoke?
Oh.
This is tricky.
Mr. Snoke. It's tricky. And look, I just want to say to all the other prestigious members of the Senate out there, I get to be on your side and shout what you're all feeling inside right now. No freaking way. No way is Luke Skywalker going to be beaten by Snoke. That's my opening statement.
See, I think that as much as I don't want it to happen, it's an inevitability. Not based off of any kind of movie trends or Hollywood formula. I think it's an inevitability based off of what kind of person Snoke is and who he may or may not be and what he may or may not be, because that's a whole other debate.
Yep.
But I'll start off by saying this. After watching Force Awakens again, we already know that Kylo Ren is a badass mofo because he killed his own father.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, whenever we meet a villain in Star Wars, there's always that sort of moment where we're like, oh, maybe they're not as bad as we think. But with Kylo, we got that moment where it's like, nope, he's as bad as we think.
Yep.
With Snoke, on the other hand, Snoke is so far all talk and no action.
True.
And I think that in order to cement him as the threat he deserves to be, because so far he's a cool character, as much as we haven't seen barely any of him. I like Snoke. Yeah, he's great. I want to see him be the villain that this trilogy deserves. And in order to do that, I think that killing everybody's beloved Uncle Luke would really, cement him in that spot. And the perfect example is, we've been hearing all these visual news clips about how he looks with his ring and his bling and his gold. It brings me, it reminds me of my favorite comic book character of all time, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, and how.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's got that whole the Kingpin sitting in his chair and he's giving orders. But what I've always loved about Kingpin is that if somebody bursts into his office, maybe there's a guard or two who will try to stop him, but then Kingpin is going to.
He can handle. Yeah, he can handle himself. That's one of the best. I agree with you. There.
Yeah, he's going to be like, look, I was born in the Bronx, whatever, come at me. And then next thing you know, Spider-Man's windpipe is being crushed.
Exactly.
I think that Snoke is definitely going to play that card. He's going to be like, yeah, I'm the little emperor in my little throne, and I've got my Praetorian guards who, look at all these guards that we keep pimping out. Look at the toys of them. They're guarding Snoke, but does Snoke really need them, or are they more just there to distract from the fact that he's going to get up and wreck shit if he needs to?
That's true, but here's the thing. I think that he does need them. I think the reason they needed to be functional, because you're right, it doesn't make sense for him to have these guards around, right? Now, with the Emperor, it's a perception thing, right? So Sheev is trying to play up the fact that he was so badly injured by the Jedi. He's using that experience to politically manipulate. He's trying to get people to see the Jedi as the wrong side. That's why he does it, right? So, but the thing is, I don't think Snoke is that way, and I think that the First Order is built up in a way where they know exactly what Snoke is. Maybe not to the degree that they know like he's a will or where he comes from like that, but they know he's dark side and they know he uses the dark side stuff. Like, I believe his wisdom and what he's trying to do. He's trying to play a spiritual side to this thing because it's not Sith, right? So it's not Sith, but it could still be using the Force. Like, I think that's what's fascinating about Snoke. He's going to try to position the Force. Look, the greatest heroes think, or the greatest villains rather, think they're heroes. And the way you get a whole population to basically support a villainous emperor or king is you make them feel like they're the heroes and the other people are the villains. So I think that's what's going on. I don't think that Snoke would need people in functional gear that have electrified weapons to fight Jedi if he truly didn't need it. That's just what my gut tells me. I also think that the reason he needs Kylo Ren, it's what his father even tells him, is because he's using him for his power. You know what I mean? So to me, all signs point to Snoke not being a physical threat. I mean, if you just look at his body, and this was going to be my first point, I was going to be like, and I guess I kind of am, Andrew, there's no way. Look at him. Look at his skinny body, his veiny body. He like walks like this, dude. There's no way. There's no way he's going to be able to beat Skywalker. It just physically doesn't seem possible. But you do bring up a good point when you say the fact that he needs to be solidified as a villain, right? But I just don't think it's going to be in the lightsaber fighting way. I think he's going to be able to manipulate Luke, maybe get inside his head, maybe do something that throws him way off. There are ways that he could, quote unquote, beat Luke without physically beating him with a lightsaber or something like that. So, but for intents and purposes, I don't think that he's going to be able to beat him because I think he does need that protection. I think he's weak. And we've heard these rumors that he could be a Force vampire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what if that's not even actually his body? And Luke beats him, but the joke is really, or the way that Snoke continues to grow is like, that wasn't even my body. You know what I mean? And Snoke's back. Like that, like, how do you beat that? That's what's interesting. So I don't know, man. As far as that point is concerned, and to the Senate, I would say, all signs point to Snoke being weak and needing other people. His strength is his ability to manipulate others to his will. So will he beat Luke? No. It's possible that he could convince someone else to beat Luke. Like, dude, I just don't think Luke's going to kill Kylo. I don't think he has it in him. You know what I mean? And so if they face off, I think what Snoke really needs to do, and I'm kind of side backfiring a little bit, but I think that what Snoke needs to do is he needs to convince Kylo to legitimately try to kill Luke, because I don't think Luke is going to like put him down. That's my thing.
That's the idea of Snoke manipulating or brainwashing Luke, like kind of just pulling a Jim Jones and getting Luke on his side. That's pretty damn terrifying too. And that would be a great way to make him a solid villain without him even needing to lift a finger, which is cool. And it's something we've never seen before. So that is a good point.
Yeah. And what if that's why Luke's in hiding? Because he doesn't want to even be on the board. Like, so it's a chess game, right? And Snoke's winning. Snoke knows all the moves. Luke's like, well, I'm just going to take myself off of the table. I'm taking myself out of the game. You can't use me anymore. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, I'm scared of him because I don't know what he's capable of yet. I think from a drama standpoint, from just a pure emotional, like, I'm sitting down, I got hired to write this movie. How am I going to bring the stakes? I feel like there is a perfect way to get Rey involved emotionally through killing Luke. And that's because when you watch Force Awakens again, look at how Rey reacts when Han Solo gets killed. She is very upset. And Rey knew Han Solo for about the better part of 2 days throughout that movie. I mean, he picks her up. First, he holds her at gunpoint because he's like, what are you doing in my ship? They go to Taco Dana. They bond a little bit. He gives her a gun. And then she runs off in the woods after she touches the lightsaber. And next time she sees Han, they're running through Starkiller Base. And he's like, I'm going to go over here now. And then he dies.
Running can be super bonding, I think, is the lesson. If you really want to bond with someone, go run with them away from danger.
Go run. through hallways.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
such a relationship with Han is such a whirlwind one, and yet she's such a compassionate person that seeing him die is like really hard on her. So obviously, I think that in this movie on Ahch-To, she's going to spend a lot more time with Mr. Skywalker, possibly training for weeks, maybe longer. We're not really sure how much time is going to pass yet. So I think that that amount of time, coupled with the fact that not only is she with him, but she's, bearing her soul to him during these training sessions, and probably him to her, that's going to create such a bigger connection. I mean, regardless of whether, if you're out there and you still think maybe he's her father, regardless of whether he is or not, there's going to be a connection there that once that is severed, once Luke is out of the picture, like murdered by a bad person, that is going to affect Rey so much more than it did with Han, to the point where it could even possibly, if you're in the camp that she might turn dark, there's a catalyst.
Sure. That's right fair. There. Yep.
And she, because so much is resting on her, if I was given the job to write this movie, I would try to work out a way where all these big events, I'm like, okay, how does this affect Rey? How does this affect my hero? And to kill off her master would give me so much more room to play around with her.
That's true. No, you know what? You're absolutely right. There's definitely something to be said for having a similar scene to A New Hope where Rey is watching this person that now has trained her and is the mentor wizard figure in the hero's journey, and he sacrifices himself and/or is struck down by the main villain. There's definitely something to be said for that. I would say this is what I think, because this is actually something I thought a lot about when I was prepping. I prepped about 5 minutes. But when I was thinking about this debate, that is something that popped into my mind. Here's what I will say. It seems like, from what Rian Johnson has been talking about, that they've kind of already done that with Han. Like you said, when Han died, Rey was there, Finn was there. I mean, obviously Kylo was there, Chewie was there. It was a big deal. And Ryan recently said that death is going to loom over Episode 8. That Han and his loss will loom heavy over Episode 8. And they said in one of the...
Sorry, do you think we're going to see that funeral, that Han funeral that we've been rumored to see?
I believe so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, I don't think he'll get the body. So it's so weird. So IMDb is like, there'll be a funeral and Han's there. Now, there's a way they could, I guess, hologram a body in there. But like, that planet exploded. And he fell off into like this pit of explosive, whatever, core thing. There's just no way. So if they have, that would like really upset me, actually. If they have the funeral and it's legitimately Harrison Ford's body there, I'll be like, what? Like, but yeah, I just side act part, your side act part. I'm sorry. But, yeah, we'll totally get that funeral. But, like, I guess my point is that I think for Rey, seeing Han have killed... Because you got to remember, too, you're right. They only knew each other for 2 days. But she's like, you're Han Solo. This is the Millennium Falcon. Yo, she knows. What's funny is, if you read the novel, she had been in the Falcon since she was a child, like, breaking in at night to learn about ships and stuff. Which is, like, why... That's in one of the earlier scripts, and I love it because... it implies that it's one of those things where she's not a Mary Sue. Like, everyone likes to think, well, she just hops on the Falcon and knows this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no, if you read the source material, she had been breaking into the Falcon since she was very young to learn how to fly and stuff. So I think that's cool. But I guess what I'm saying is she knew Han, she idolized Han before they had ever met each other. And so she met her hero, or one of her heroes, and they really bonded. And they were on adventure. You know what I'm saying? And you get so much of Han in those moments. It's so Han Solo. Like, can you even jump out of while you're still in this cargo hold? Like, I never asked that question until after I've tried. You know what I mean? Like, he's Han Solo through and through. He's so charming. Like, you fall in love with the dude. So I think that she is really, really attached to him. And seeing his death could be the exact catalyst that you described, which is very important to heroes, but she could already be in the wake of that in Episode 8. So, I think that one thing I would say, just to kind of counter argue is that maybe that won't happen because it kind of already has. But I'll say this. I can see a scenario where Luke sacrifices himself the same way Obi-Wan did. But I don't think that's the same thing as Snoke beating him. In fact, that's like one of a checkmate sort of move for the Jedi. Because to me, Andrew, when I watch A New Hope, I almost watch it nowadays within the context that Obi-Wan is hyper aware of everything that is going on to a omnipotent, scary degree. And I get that sense after watching the Twin Sons episodes of Rebels, which is why I love the new canon, because it recontextualizes things. It recontextualizes things. It's like, dude, he knew who Ezra Bridger was. He thought Luke was the chosen one. I mean, like, dude, it recontextualizes that movie, and I just get this vibe that Obi-Wan was truly in control that whole time. Have you heard like the weird theories that the missiles from the TIE fighters and the TIE fighters at the end that are chasing him in the trench, that it's Kenobi's power that is saving Luke like that whole time? Like, so it's like if Luke is in a situation where he thinks the move to beat Snoke is to allow his physical body to die and join the Force and become a Force ghost, I can see that happening. I just don't think it's the same thing as Snoke beating him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. Because what that would imply is that Luke just gets struck down by Snoke. That ain't happening. Like, I'm just saying, like that.
Obi-Wan beat Vader.
Right. Exactly. So that's kind of my counter argument to that. But it is a good point, because in the classic sense, because look, a lot of this stuff is it's acts, right? It's soap opera. It's got these different acts, and we almost know what's going to happen, right? So to a degree, I can see where you're coming from for sure. But I just don't think. I think at the core of it, I just don't see Luke Skywalker slipping up like that. Although the Luke we see at the beginning of this movie, Last Jedi, is going to be super flawed. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's the Luke that meets Snoke. He's gonna find his spirit again. You know what I mean? Like, and Rey's gonna totally be like, "Yo, shut up, old man. You're Luke effing Skywalker, bro. Get your crap together." You know what I mean? And I think he will.
I would love if she dropped the F-bomb while she was trying to convince him.
Well, is it PG? Is it PG-13?
I think it might be.
I think it might be two. Oh, they got one F-bomb. But dude, Star Wars, I don't think Star Wars is ever going to do that.
Imagine.
You know what's so funny? On a side Akbar, I just want to go here. So yesterday I did a video about the Han Solo announcement, the movie. Very cool, very big deal. I just did a very short video, right? And I think I swear... The Obi-Wan, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Han Solo, didn't I? Yeah, the Obi-Wan movie. So I just did like a little, I think it was like 6 minutes, a little just report about how it's official now. At the very end of that video, I think I swore one time at the very end of the video. I think I said shit. I was like, this shit excites me or something like that. Dude, YouTube was like, we can monetize this, but it's that new yellow monetization where it doesn't go to all advertisers. Have you guys seen this at all on the back end?
Oh, yeah. James was talking to me about that this morning from the last episode. So that's what that is, because of there's like profanity, they change it up. Wow.
Yes, and to be fair to them, it's a good system because of the drama that they had earlier this year. They're being more proactive with that, and they're like categorizing things and doing that, which is good. But like, man, I was upset that I put this video out there. I tried to keep it super clean, you know what I mean? Because I don't necessarily want to turn off people for Star Wars. It's a super casual thing, right? It's got young people really like it. And so I was trying purposely not to swear. And then like I think I swear like barely. And YouTube was like, nope, it's still super inappropriate. And I was like, what? It doesn't even make sense. But anyway, I digress.
Okay, we'll get our Last Jedi F-bomb and it'll make everything better.
Dude, you should do a show about who should get the F-bomb in The Last Jedi, because I think it should be Maz Kanata.
Oh my God, that would be we're gonna do that show. That's a whole other show. But hang on to that. So the one final thing about why Snoke could very probably kill Luke, that really kind of stemmed from our previous episodes, and I think some of your previous episodes as well on your show, was the fact that it is very likely that Snoke may be a Will, or
Yes.
Will, if you want to not sound pretentious. But
why am I saying what like what?
Now, as a Will, the Wills were these old school kind of powerful beings that communicated with force sensitive people. They were essentially a conduit between the supernatural force and the physical realm.
Yes.
And for a while, that was how things were. And then all of a sudden, people stopped talking about the Wills. It kind of fell out of vogue. We see Baze and Chirrut, who are guarding this temple that nobody's going to. It's become a very outdated part of a religion. And all of a sudden, along comes this virgin midichlorian birth.
Yes.
And now this guy is the most powerful force user in the galaxy. And he has kids. Looking at it from a standpoint, like from the Bible, in the Bible, the angels were not happy when all of a sudden God started favoring humans. And he was like, look at these humans I made. The angels were like, we're not having that. And it actually led to a war.
Yep.
If Snoke is a fallen Will, I think it stands to reason that he absolutely loathes the idea that there was this force birth, and now there are there's a force birth bloodline running through the galaxy of insanely people.
Yes.
And I think that he would want, above all else, to eliminate this bloodline and return things to the status quo that he was comfortable with. Now, he has one member of that bloodline in his pocket. And frankly, I think that if Kylo Ren goes, I think it'll be Snoke who does it. But Luke and Leia are also both, very powerful members of that bloodline. Snoke pretty much, he knows where Leia is. I think he could get to her. Like if he wanted to like send somebody to the base, like he knows how to get to her. It's just a matter of she's too powerful right now. But Luke is a wild card for him because, like you said, Luke took himself off the chessboard and he doesn't know where he is. So Snoke killing Luke would be like, I am one step closer to my goal. Now all I have left is I can use Kylo to get to Leia, and once I've cut off the head of the dragon, I can get rid of Kylo and I'm done. The Wills are back. We're in charge now. No more of this Messiah bloodline BS. I'm the real deal. But getting to Leia is going to be the thing where he fails. Getting to Leia is going to be where whether Kylo starts to have a change of heart or whether the resistance is just, they beat back his forces. I think that Leia is going to be the one where he's like, I almost had her.
Right.
Lost.
So that's an interesting point. And yes, the Will thing is a tricky thing to get around because it's like if he's all powerful, or at least, on the level of power that we think a Will would have, man, like how could Luke possibly beat him? You know what I mean? Like that seems almost impossible. The only reason that I think you can have your cake and eat it too, so to speak, with that is it almost doesn't make sense for Snoke to be a villain at all if he's that powerful. Like, so in order for him to be a compelling villain and for the story to work, he can't be that powerful, but he has to be possibly potentially that powerful or like able to be that powerful. So if he's the Will thing, which we're pretty, I would say it fluctuates for me, but I'm between 60, 70, sometimes as far as 80% sure that he's a Will. I think that it comes down to the fact that the Wills are this thing from the cosmic force, and everything in the galaxy, like the physical galaxy, is the living force. In order for the Wills to exist in the realm of the living force, because that's what I think is happening with Snoke. He's trying to come from the cosmic realm into the living realm. He wants full embodiment, and he wants all the power that he has in the cosmic to be there with him in the physical realm. The only thing that makes sense for me is that is a process, or it's something that he is trying to accomplish. Okay. And I think that the main thing here, like, what if Snoke is still really out in the unknown regions and this body is a manifestation? Or maybe it's, we don't even shouldn't think of it as physical space, like he's in the unknown regions. Like, no. He's in the cosmic force. He's like a force ghost that has puppeteered this physical being and is controlling this physical being. You know what I mean? And so to me, you're right. But Luke or Rey, which it'll probably be Rey. Like, the thing is, I don't think Luke is still the hero of this journey. I think it's going to be Rey, and possibly Kylo if he's redeemed, which, you know, it's a whole other thing, right? But the idea here is to stop Snoke before he gets to the level that you're talking about, before he gets to that omnipotent, crazy, powerful place. Because what does he want? Like, that's what's interesting, right? Like, if Snoke is really the devil, you know what I mean? And he's up here and he's omnipowerful. Like, the thing that makes the devil compelling is the fact that he can't force people to his will and he can't just destroy the world. He has to manipulate human beings, twist their emotions, and make them do evil things. That's how Lucifer acts. He doesn't just like come down here and start punching people in the face and stuff. You know what I mean? So if that's what Snoke is doing, then Snoke too is going to have to manipulate, right? So, I mean, once again, I see where you're coming from, and I think that you're right. Like, Snoke is potentially that strong. Like, that's the real threat, is him getting to his final form. You know what I mean? If this is Dragon Ball, right? Like, you know, he's going to go Golden Frieza on us, so to speak, with the golden robes. Oh my God, that's what it is. It's Golden Frieza.
Oh,
but yep. Wait, watch it. We're gonna no ads now. You said shit.
Yellow dollar sign.
Yep, yellow dollar sign. So that's probably how I would argue that. I mean, you know, if he's really holy crap, man, you know, that's something serious to deal with. But the only thing is, we think, at least I think, that his power is limited, and that his presence here is somehow limited, and that is where the heroes need to put their focus. That's what Rey or Kylo will probably do, is beat him before he gets to full power. And Luke, if anything, like we said in kind of the last point, might join the cosmic force, allow himself to be in that realm in order to help the people in the living force to beat Snoke out of that realm. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'd have to say for that.
Well, either way, it's going to be, I think, a very cerebral smackdown at the end of the day. I mean, there's going to be...
Yeah. And let me ask you this. Like, what do you think about... Because when I always explain this stuff to the casual fans, because I have, like, for instance, my roommate. Like, I'll talk to him. You know, he knows how to do the YouTube thing. And he'll be like, so what do you think about this Star Wars thing? And then when I start to explain some of this stuff, he's like, dude, I think that's too heavy. And he might be right. Like, do you think some of this stuff is too heavy? Like, how do you get the casual audience to understand some of the stuff that you and I are thinking about? You know, like you, me, and James, and Brock, we're all thinking about these crazy things. How do you think they're going to get the casual fans to get that? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. I think at the end of the day, it would have to come down to just very, very careful phrasing of everything. Not necessarily dumbing it down or watering it down, but sort of distilling it into more bite-sized terms that even like a little kid can watch. Like my cousin's daughter, who's like 2, who idolizes Rey and keeps saying she wants to beat up Kylo Ren because she loves Rey. She could watch this movie and understand Snoke is from like a magic dimension, and he's using magic dimension powers to come to this dimension, but Luke stopped him in that. Like, I think if they word it in a proper way, she'll get it. And as she gets older, she'll, you know, it'll be even more clear. But you're right. That's a very slippery slope. And that's an unenviable task for the writers. And who knows, we've heard Trevorrow's got some rewrites going on his movie. So maybe something like that is being taken into account.
That's probably, you know, that's true. And honestly, something you just said triggered something in my mind. I've literally never thought this before, but it's so interesting. Do you remember in The Phantom Menace where Anakin asks Padme if she's an angel? And he explains...
I was thinking of that when I wrote my notes for this episode, of how, like, fallen angels, you know, all of a sudden,
Dude.
I'm like, shit, they talked about angels already in the movie. Oh!
Exactly. What did he say to her? He was like, they are above, I've heard they're in some moon and they're beautiful or something like that, right? And then there's that whole thing where they said Snoke was once upon a time very beautiful, right? Dude, did we just break the plot? We know.
And you know what? We saw one of those angels in an episode of Clone Wars. So I'm gonna try to find that episode and find like a visual and see how much it looks like.
That's a good idea. Yeah. That's interesting. That's pretty cool stuff. We might have just broke the code, as it were.
Oh, and then all of a sudden that line has been
yeah, it's got all new meaning. But you're right. Like the reason it works is because it like sort of makes it easier for the audience. It digests it, distills it down, like you said. It's the same thing with like, and you know, sorry guys, I might lose you all your subscribers here, but it's the same thing that Christianity did. They put their holidays over top of the pagan holidays. So like, for instance, Easter is on the pagan holiday. I think it's the solstice or something like that. Oh, he's got the picture of, is that the angel?
Showing us a picture of the angel. That could very well, you know, that looks like a will.
I'm not going to lie. That looks to me like it could be the thing. Yeah. Wow. It's skinny too.
Mr. Hidalgo, James.
Yeah, we should tweet. Yeah, James, you should tweet Pablo about that.
Snoke is an angel.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But it's the same thing that the Christianity did. It put its holidays right over top of the pagan holidays, because when you're trying to get people to buy into an idea, it's like, oh, this was an important spiritual day. It's still a really important spiritual day, and now it's for this a little bit, and then it's easier for them to buy in. So, yeah, I can see that. You know, that's to some degree. That's probably why stories in general are cyclical, because it's like, okay, they can get this. They get that this is this part, and now we're resolution. You know, so I can see it.
Yeah, and so maybe we cracked a code here, folks. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we're just talking out of our butts. Who knows? But as the Senate, you got to vote now. Vote now. Get in your little pod. Do your little pod thing. Cast your vote, as long as you do it with no confidence, because that's the name of the game. I have been joined by the wonderful Joshua Lucas. Joshua, where can they find you when you're not in the Senate talking about angels?
Yes, go to the Den of Nerds. The Den of Nerds, either thedenofnerds.com or the Den of Nerds YouTube channel. Andrew and James have both done awesome articles on the denofnerds.com, so go check those out. But yeah, you can find me on the YouTubes. I'm about to binge. Holy crap, I can't wait. I'm about to binge all 8 Defenders episodes after this. I'm literally going to get snacks after this, and I'm doing the thing. So I'm so excited. So if you're interested, you can check out some of the reports I've already done for the Defenders, and I'm definitely going to review it when I'm finished.
I'm just excited to see Luke Cage and Iron Fist together at last.
Yes. Did you see the one trailer where Danny's like hiding behind him while they're shooting?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Dude, so there's this one trailer, and I think it was I think it was released on Netflix. Some people obviously put it online, YouTube or whatever. I did like a short video about it. But there's this like 10-second scene where there's these guys with guns, and Danny kind of like goes behind him, and Luke is sort of body shielding him. And as soon as the clip's empty, he like flips over him and they start fighting. I'm like, it's Power Man and Iron Fist. Oh my God. Yeah. It's total hype. Yeah. It's total hype.
I'm excited for the show now. So thank you very much for voting with no confidence with us today, Joshua. And we will see everybody yet again on the Rebel Scum podcast and on Vote of No Confidence. See you next time.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.